as someone who really Transformers Prime, likes Transformers Prime, and would never say those really unnecessarily mean things like Transformers Prime is overrated or anything like that, you would think I would have had a version of Megatron before. But no, never ever got a hold of a Prime Megatron in any form. This right here, APC Toys Dark Master, the battle damaged version, which really it's not battle damaged so much as just regular wear and tear. Now, this is the first exposure I've gotten to any version of Transformers Prime Megatron, and this mold in particular. This, I don't know what the actual name is for this mold. I think it was like the Voyager class figure or something like that. Maybe a leader, I don't know. But never touched this before in my life. Had my eye on the Sharkticon Megatron for the longest time, but never went and got it. And eventually my interest waned. But then I saw this and thought it would be really cool, but then never got it. But then it just looks so pretty, and I was seeing all these photos online. It's just like, he's so pretty. So I finally got a hold of him from, I think I ordered this off of TF Direct. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure it's TF Direct. But yeah, got this guy, and he's so pretty. I mean, look at him. Everyone's got their thing when it comes to Transformers media and what their preferences are and that kind of stuff. For me personally, I always felt that this was the coolest version of Megatron. I'm sure there are arguments to be made for other versions. I haven't read the comics. I'm just basing it off of the stuff I've been exposed to. And I really like this depiction of Megatron because he is scary. He is an intimidating character. He is not the cartoonish villain, Saturday morning cartoon villain that he is in G1. I know Beast Wars Megatron actually did a lot of stuff. I feel like Beast Wars Megatron is more like Kefka, and that he's kind of a goof, but he also knows what he's doing and is very conniving and underhanded and clever. This Megatron, he's just gonna murder you. If you get in his way, he's just gonna kill you. Oh, I'm sorry. YouTube algorithm. He's just gonna unalive you. This is a cool Megatron, and this is a really cool figure. And this is the APC Toys version, so it actually has a little bit more going on than the original version of the mold. I don't know enough about that original figure to say one way or another what engineering is new, with just a couple of very small exceptions. He's got bicep swivels, which I'm pretty sure that original mold did not have, and he's got ankle tilts that technically exist, which I don't think the original mold had either. I think, from what I saw, people talking about it, I think like the backpack engineering is also a little different too, but I don't have that knowledge, so I can't say for sure. But yeah, this is just an extremely cool figure of a very cool Megatron, and I really like this color scheme. He's got this the dark gunmetal-y silver with the metallic purple is just a great color scheme on its own, but then they have this weathering, which is really cool. Where he's just got these scratches, silvery scratches painted into him in different places, and it's not uniform, so it really does look like he's just kind of scuffed up. And he just looks so cool. So pretty. Maybe not the handsomest bot in my collection. I think that still goes to Legacy Vector Prime with repro labels, but he is very handsome. Now, as you might see, he has some extra accessories. I believe the original figure only came with the fusion cannon, and the fusion cannon is arguably a little small, but I feel like this is a good size because it's noticeable, but not unwieldy. It does have electronics. There is a switch and a spot for some batteries if you open it up. There's the switch, so the screws you take out to put in the batteries. I don't have the batteries for it, so I can't do the light thing, but this does light up if you have batteries for it. But otherwise, it just plugs onto his arm and looks like a Megatron fusion cannon, which is cool. He also, new accessory, comes with 2 arm blades, and these just peg into the spot just above the wrist here. And it's on both arms, just big peg, and it's shaped in such a way that when it pegs in, it kind of seamlessly blends in with things there. Or not seamlessly, but it blends in well. So he's got the two big wrist knives, which look really intimidating. And then there is, of course, the dark saber. I believe it's the dark saber. And it comes with its own little sheath that attaches to his back. And this is kind of scary to get in and out the first time you do it, but it rotates, which is cool, and it just kind of nestles in here. There are these little tabs on either side of this. Little tabs on either side of this oval piece that go into these little slots on the top and bottom of this piece, and that just kind of wedges in, and that works as the sheath for the sword, so you can keep it on there. The thing that stinks about this is you can't really store this in vehicle mode, but whatever. Now the Darksaber looks fantastic. I think the guard and everything might be... Oh, no, it actually might be a separate piece. It's hard to tell, but it does look like it's actually sandwiched around the blade, so that's good. That means this is probably like a shiny black plastic with the silver paint on it, sandwiched around the translucent purple. So hopefully that means you don't have to worry about paint scraping off of this. But this looks really cool. I like the jagged shape of it. Almost looks like lightning in sword form. And the weathering looks really good. And to put it in his hand, you just pop this piece off. And the way this works is it's hard to see, but there's a teeny tiny little notch in the end of the handle there, and a teeny tiny little like tab thing on the end of this bit here, and you want to make sure to have those lined up the right way so that it goes in properly. But basically, you want the like if this is like the front of the sword, presumably like this is, he'd be holding it this way and chopping down like this. You want the longer piece facing that way. So you pop that out, and this just slides into his hand, and then plug this back in to the end, and now he's holding the Darksaber. That also looks super cool. I also don't know if the wrist swivels are new to this mold, but he has wrist swivels. So yeah, you can hold the Darksaber, and that's really neat. So I'm going to go ahead and unplug these. These also are just neat. They're like the same silvery plastic as the rest of the figure, but they've got that little bit of purple at the end there and that weathering, and it just looks good. And also, they're not sharp, but they are pointy. So like this is definitely going to take out an eye if you jam it in someone's face. And when removing these, what I do is I just kind of grab close to where the peg is and wiggle side to side while pulling out. And that works pretty well, because there's just enough space here that you can get a little bit of a wiggle going and then pull it out. Because I don't want to just pull straight out, because I feel like this might just snap something. But that is what you do. And again, peg that back in. And the head sculpt is great. It's Prime Megatron. Prime Megatron's design is basically just like a sleek, angular, angry version of the G1 Buckethead. Like you can still kind of see vague remnants of that shape in here, but it kind of tapers around and like up and around, almost like a knight helmet. And then of course you've got the extremely intimidating and angry toothed face on the inside there, which they painted really well too. Like the molding is really good, but they also painted the teeth. They painted the eyes. They didn't just paint the eyes red, they also painted the pupils. Or not pupils, but like the corneas and pupils, or whatever counts for that for Cybertronian. So like the eyes are red with these white circles and little black dots in them. And they just look mean. Like this is a mean Megatron. I really like this head sculpt. It looks great, and the paint job is great. And it's very cool. And I don't want him looking at me when I'm trying to sleep. As for the articulation, the head is on a ball joint, so you get some side-to-side motion. You can get some up and down, and you do get side to side, though the side to side is hampered by the collar bits, so you can't go all the way around, but I don't really see why you would need to, and I feel like this is plenty. The shoulders are on a hinge up here and a hinge here, so you can hinge the shoulder out about this far, but then you can use that additional joint to go out even further. And you also get rotation due to the transformation, you have what kind of qualifies as a butterfly joint. I kind of wish it were stiffer or locked in place better, but you got a butterfly joint, especially if you angle this kind of out of the way. You get, as I said, a bicep rotation, which I do not believe the original toy had. You got 90-degree elbow, but then you can also use this joint for additional elbow bend, which looks a little weird, but you can use it. So you can get a full curl if you want. You can get a partial curl. You got choices. There is no waist rotation, which I think makes sense given like there's a lot of hinges and stuff in here, so I think that's understandable. The hips can go forward to just about 90, can go back to just about 90, can go out to pretty much 90. You get a knee rotation, or I guess it's not a thigh rotation, it's a knee rotation, but it is above the knee. That's the important thing. Because you do get a knee bend and it's slightly over 90, but like the knee rotation is above the knee, so it's the better kind. I hate when they do it below the knee. And then I did mention, okay, so you can angle the toes, you can kind of angle the feet forward and back, you can pinch in the toes and the heels. You do also get an ankle tilt. There is a dedicated ankle tilt, complete with like a channel in here for this piece to kind of move down. So you get ankle tilt. The problem is you can't really use the ankle tilt because if you use the ankle tilt, it separates the shin. It's some kind of weird design. I mean, I guess you can do like a very minimal ankle tilt, like don't push it all the way, but it still pushes this out a little bit. So I never use the ankle tilts because I don't like having the shin pushed apart. But it's there, you can use it. Size-wise, I'm pretty sure this is another departure from the original mold. I don't think the original figure was quite this tall. I could be wrong, but I'm somewhat reasonably sure that he was a little bit shorter. Like next to an approximation of the first edition Prime mold, this is the APC Toys Nemesis Colors version of the first edition Prime mold, which is just a fantastic figure. But I think this is pretty much one-to-one in terms of size with the original figure, and this Megatron just towers over him, which I think is right. I think it looks good, but I'm just saying I don't think the original figure was quite that much towering over first edition Prime. But since we're looking at Prime figures, I gotta bring in the other ones that I've got. So there's my KO of first edition Bulkhead. Don't know which company made it. It's not APC Toys, but there is APC Toys Angel Engine, their KO of Prime RC. And because why not? Here he is with Jack. And that is not scale accurate for sure. I'm pretty sure in that episode where they end up in the mine, Jack is like, his body is about the size of Megatron's head. Maybe not quite that small, but like, I'm pretty sure this scale is not correct. Not that it needs to be, at least for my purposes, but just saying. And now, we vehicle mode. So, gonna unplug the fusion cannon, and also if you want to, you can flip this down so he can hold it like a gun. If you want him to do that, he can do that. That sure is a thing. Anyway, we're just going to keep that like that, and that's going to go off to the side now to transform him properly. Okay, so there is kind of a lot going on here. Going to straighten out the arms, make sure the biceps are where they should be, like pointing forward. These little spikes push in. It's barely noticeable, like kind of, you know, I feel like these could maybe come down a little further, but they don't. But those push in. The backpack will kind of come out, and it brings the arms with it. So this whole thing will come out and up a bit, and I'm bringing it up on this hinge more than anything, so I'm going to bring that up. And now the lower body kind of swings back a bit. The tummy panel will untab and swing down, and it retabs in here. It's like a notch here that this tab will settle in. So that tabs in down there. The chest panels, you kind of want to pull forward a bit to unseat them, and they will swing down. There you can see there's the tab slot that they go into. There's a tab on the inside there, but these swing around, unseat and swing around, and these will, you want to bring these out until they kind of thunk into place like that, and then these will eventually come down like this, but we're kind of going to leave them loosely off to the side for now. And this will stay like this, and as you can see, no waist swivel. Not that it would matter because all of this is kind of sitting into the midsection here, so that wouldn't work. But anyway, this comes down, and we've got all that happening. Now, this is kind of the semi-complicated part. So, all of what's going on here, there's like some tabs up in here that these pieces are sandwiched or tabbed over, so you kind of want to bring these up and out, and they are on a double hinge, but you also kind of need to hinge the arms down a bit, so you can accordion these out slowly and carefully. Not because they're like breakable, just, you know, you want to be careful with them. This piece, now this is something that threw me off. I could not get this to work right when I was first messing around with this figure. Like, I could not get the vehicle mode to sit right, and that's because this piece is on a slider. You actually want to slide it up, and then you can rotate this 180 degrees, and with this slid up, it'll be able to swing forward more to cover up everything that it needs to cover up. So you want to make sure you disassemble this backpack before you bring this piece up further, because these pieces will crash into the back of the head. But with that done, now you can bring this up the rest of the way, and that will kind of sit flat like that, and this piece will come forward, and it kind of just awkwardly goes over Megatron's head. And again, you want to make sure that slider is as forward as it can go, and this will come over Megatron's head. And what then happens, I'm going to bring these arms forward and down further. What then happens is there are these kind of hook tabs on the side here. These little hook tabs that go over these little tabs on the sides of the torso. So these come down, and you can kind of shift this back a bit so that you can shift it forward once you get it lined up, rather than having to kind of bring it down and stress it over anything. And these can kind of shift back up a little bit. So this will now sit pretty nice and flush, but that's the thing. You want to make sure that that hinge is shoved forward on that slider that you don't really know is there. Otherwise, this is not going to line up properly. So now, with these arms down, you can rotate. Okay, I guess maybe he did have biceps, because otherwise how would this work? But you rotate the arms and then plug the arms together, and then curl the arms in, and they hinge up and in, and basically you want to kind of hinge these forward, and this will curl in, and this will kind of tuck up in here, and it's a little weird to do. You might want to unplug these to get things lined up, but this will all kind of situate and settle around this kind of, you can just kind of see it here, these angled bits here. So bring that out, and then plug those back together so everything's nice and lined up. And now we've got all this going on. Now we can do the legs. So the legs, you want to fold the feet in, rotate the legs pretty sure this way, and these will kind of come out like this, and eventually this is going to swing around and all, it's going to like plug in here and stuff. But first, going to take this side panel and bring it out, and then kind of rotate and angle it so that this can, this is surprisingly tricky, but this kind of needs to go up and around all of these tabs and stuff that are in here so that you can get this panel out. And this is always something I can never quite get the angle right at first. I think you want to go back and out. There we go. So that swings out. And now you want to rotate this so that this piece gives you enough room to get this translucent purple piece out, because if it's like this, it's going to catch. So you want to rotate it so that it lines up with that, so you can flip this out. And then this will eventually come around and peg into stuff. Same deal here, you want to slide this out and then rotate it out. It's just, again, it's a little tricky to get it around all of these tabs, but it does work. You just kind of got to finesse it. Be a little careful. Okay, now, with all that done, this can swing in. The legs will swing in, and these slots here will tab into these backs of what were the shoulders. So that tabs in there, and then this panel will tab into a slot on the side of the leg, and there you can see the slot there. So same deal here. Bring this in and tab it into what was the back of the shoulder, and then push this in. And then for the wings, these come up, and there's a kind of slot here that goes over this little hook tab here, and that will tab in there. And same deal with this one. You want to make sure it's rotated around properly. Bring it up, tab it in. And what I like to do with the feet is I just curl them in, because I just feel like it cleans up the vehicle mode a little bit more. So there we have all of that, and just making sure all of this is nice and situated. Bring these in if they're not in already. And this is a thing where I feel like it should go in further, but when I do this, it feels like it's stressing plastic, so I just kind of push it until it stops. So there we go. There is Megatron's or Dark Master's vehicle mode, and then also to do the fusion cannon, there's a slot on the front here that goes over this tab back here. So you can tab the fusion cannon in like that. And that's it. And now you can kind of see here in the front how this panel is actually lined up correctly on both sides. That is entirely because of that slider. Again, that's something that I really wish was more obvious at first, because it's so easy to miss. But when you use that slider, it will line up properly, and it will make for a proper vehicle mode. And this vehicle mode it looks pretty because of the paint job and the paint. It's weird. There's very visible Megatron head right there. You can even see his eyes peeking through, looking very angry. This is not a knock on the toy, because this is how Megatron's alt mode looked in the show. From what I recall, you could actually see his robot mode head and eyes in the alt mode in the show. So, you know, it's not inaccurate, it's just a silly portion of the design. But I don't know, I think this is neat. It's definitely weird, but it works as like fast travel mode. The transformation is interesting. It's got this kind of like manta ray look to it almost, especially if you consider this the front. But yeah, it's cool. It's an alien space, the alien flying thing. It's probably tied into the 2007 movie. I don't know, because he turned into a weird space whatever there too. But I like this for what it is. I kind of nothing. I do wish that the fusion cannon could maybe do a little bit more in this mode, but I'm glad there's at least a place to store it. And I don't think you can really swing it around. I mean, I guess you can, but that doesn't really do much. The thing that does kind of bum me out, though, with this vehicle mode is he comes with all of these accessories, and you can't really store them in this mode. I mean, okay, you technically can store the wrist blades. What I've found that you can do is there's a... where is it? There's a thing here. There's that's what it was. Is these little screw holes, they have like a kind of cylindrical bit around them. You can actually kind of loosely plug the pegs into those holes, so they kind of fit in there, so you can give him air stabbers, I guess. I mean, they're in there. They're not coming out. Unless you bump them like that. But that's not really intended storage I don't think, and it just kind of bums me out that there's no real good place to store these in the vehicle mode. Definitely not this, because this hole, the sheath, it tabs into the hole that his head is in, so there's no way this is going in there. So I don't know. I don't know what APC Toys could have done. They did re-engineer some stuff on this guy, so I feel like maybe they could have done something to give him a little bit more weapon storage in vehicle mode, but I also understand that of the different weapons that are in vehicle mode, it does make the most sense to make the fusion cannon the priority, especially because that's the thing that already had a storage place in vehicle mode originally. But it would have been nice, you know? That's all I'm saying. The other thing that kind of bums me out about this, and again, this is the original toy design, this isn't necessarily APC's doing, but because of everything going on down here, and the way this is all angled, this doesn't sit quite right. Like, it kind of angles up, which I guess doesn't look terrible, but it still just kind of, I don't know. I don't really know how they could have gotten it to balance like this, but it's a little off. I'm not mad about it or anything like that. It's just kind of like maybe like a landing gear or something, maybe like a strut would have been nice, but yeah. And the vehicle mode is pretty big because the robot is pretty big, and this doesn't exactly compact things. It more just kind of flays him out into like a pancake shape, kind of. So still a pretty beefy vehicle mode. Still not entirely convinced that's to scale, though. Honestly, to be completely forthcoming, I almost sold this guy off a while back because I was just getting really frustrated with how the vehicle mode just would not sit together the way it was supposed to, no matter what I did. And so I was kind of like, you know what, screw it. But then one day when I was transforming him to take pictures for eBay listings, honestly, I was like, wait, this hinge slides up and down. And when I realized that and I did the transformation the way you're actually supposed to, it locked together so much better and lined up properly. And it was just like, oh, okay. So obviously I held on to him, and I'm glad I did, because this is an extremely cool figure. He's just a little bit nuanced, but then I feel like the original figure was too. But like, this version is so cool. The deco, the colors are so nice. I don't want to say something that sounds hyperbolic, like it looks like he jumped off the screen or anything like that, but it kind of looks like he jumped off the screen. I mean, obviously there are going to be some differences between this and the CG model. That's, you know, of course. But this just looks so good. This is so good. This is such a wonderful rendition of, as I said, probably the most intimidating Megatron. And he comes with the Darksaber, which looks extremely cool. He's got the extra wrist blades that you can give him. I wish all that stuff had places to go in vehicle mode, but I can deal, because he's just so pretty and so intimidating. And now that I know how that transformation is supposed to go with that hidden slider, I actually like doing the transformation too. It turns into a somewhat odd thing. Not as cohesive as some of his other stuff, but let's be real, some of Megatron's modes, even some of the ones I own, are a bit abstract. Having a, you know, alien flying thing that's basically just fast travel mode, it makes sense. Doesn't bother me. I love how good this looks. Anyway, that's enough of my salivating. What do you all think of this guy? Whether it's the original figure, other iterations he's had, whatever your thoughts, feel free to chime in down below. I always enjoy hearing from you all. Thank you everybody for watching, and I'll see you in another video at some point. I'm done recording for now, but by the time we get to the next one, there probably won't be any interruptions. We shall see.